I just went and saw The Odyssey. Now here's my thoughts. First, I want to get this out of the way. There's been a lot of contention or controversy with Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which I find silly. That's my personal opinion. I did my own little soapbox video talking about my thoughts and feelings of those said opinions, and I can reason with some of them, and then the others I'm like, you're ridiculous, you need to get over yourself. So I just wanted to mention that just ahead of my review for The Odyssey. And I also want to mention like a pivot that I'm moving towards with how I'm going about pursuing what I want to do. I want to be a film critic. I think that is what I want to do. And yes, there's things that I need to do to get there. But I also like creating videos. I find that very fun. And I am currently toying with some ideas of trying to reach a wider audience with the videos that I create. So sometime in the future, you may see different videos, still movie related, on my channel, because I just want to reach a wider audience, but also I want to create these cool experiences for a lot of people and share experience that I have with you guys. So without further ado, let's jump in. But make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. Much appreciated. I also started doing written reviews. I have one currently for The Invite. I'm not doing a full video. I don't even think I did like a short or TikTok for that movie. But I did write a full written review. I'll include that in the description below. I also will include my written review for The Odyssey. With wanting to become a film critic, something that I want to start doing is building up a portfolio or just a different form of how I portray my reviews. I like to do my best to be objective, but also subjective in a lot of ways of how I talk about movies. So keep an eye out for that. Now let's jump into Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. When this movie was announced, I was above the moon. I was so excited. The Odyssey was one of my favorite stories that we covered in English class, which was my favorite subject in school because we got to cover these diverse stories. And The Odyssey is definitely one of those stories that it's so universal and everybody knows what The Odyssey is to some degree. It's been retold in many ways. The story elements have been brought into different story mediums. And so over time, you have probably seen it from different kinds of stories. Like one crazy example is SpongeBob the movie. That takes a lot of elements from The Odyssey. We also got Oh Brother Where Art Thou, which actually is a retelling of The Odyssey in a different style, which is super cool. We also have Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, which isn't directly an adaptation or even a retelling of The Odyssey, but it takes those elements of yearning to go home, and we get to see that wonderfully. So, The Odyssey. I loved it. It was definitely a cinematic masterpiece and probably my favorite movie of the year so far. Yes, we have movies such as Project Hail Mary, which To another degree, that is an amazing movie, and I absolutely loved it. I've watched it at least 5 times already, but there's just something, not even from the cinematic storytelling aspects and casting and all that stuff, just the fact alone that how groundbreaking and a technological achievement the Odyssey is. It is the first ever film to be entirely filmed in IMAX. And yes, we have documentaries and things like that that they show throughout the world in different museums and such that, yes, are probably entirely filmed in IMAX. This is the first ever theatrical narrative film portrayed in IMAX. And yes, that may limit the experience of those who don't have access to IMAX or 70 millimeter and all that stuff. I think in whatever format you see this movie, it will still resonate. The story is very impactful, and the way they tell the story is very, very Christopher Nolan. I don't think any other modern director could conquer the Odyssey the way Christopher Nolan does in this film. Just from the level of the cinematic brilliance, his ability to make things practical. The Cyclops in this movie is a mixture of an actual human actor mixed with a puppet. I don't even know, 60 feet tall, I think is what they said. And it's breathtaking. It is insane. Christopher Nolan does a lot of these things in this movie that it's like almost testing the waters a little more into these horror elements. I wouldn't say this is overtly a horror movie, but it's a movie that portrays some horror elements because, I mean, there's some very unsettling and very scary moments that this movie shows us. And it makes me excited for the future of Christopher Nolan's filmography to see him do some sort of horror movie and see the elements of what he could apply to that. Like the fear of unknown or body horror, things like that we see in this film were some of the greatest parts of the movie. The characters of this movie were also very incredible. I love Matt Damon, and I think he's awesome. He's been in several of Nolan's films as of late. He was in Oppenheimer. He was also in Interstellar. He's just a good actor, and it's kind of funny that he's in these movies of yearning to be home, and that's what he does in this movie. Anne Hathaway also was very brilliant in this movie. Another actress who's worked with Christopher Nolan in the past. She does wonderful as Penelope. And then we have Tom Holland, which out of all of them took me by the most surprise. He is incredible, and his acting chops are unbelievable. And yes, that's mainly so that I've seen him just really as Spider-Man, and he was in that Uncharted movie several years back. But to see him to actually like put in that full effort of this character and what this character wants, you can see that in his portrayal of Telemachus, or Telemiscus, I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. But he does a brilliant job. What's his name? He plays Sid. Here's a picture of him. I don't remember his name. My brain's going blank. He also plays a big role in this film and is incredible. We also have Charlize Theron. Zendaya's in this movie. There's a lot of great players in this film. And one thing that I've heard criticism of is the casting. And I want to just let you guys know, don't be worried about it, because the casting in this film is actually very well done. And I think it was great. Robert Pattinson, also very brilliant in this movie. The list goes on. Honestly, great cast. And the performances in this movie were incredible. The soundtrack by Ludwig. My brain's going blank. I will. It's right here. I'm editing it in. It's right here. I love his score. His Oppenheimer score is amazing. And the score that he does in this movie is just so well done. And using recreation of instruments from this time period was very well done. You have some vocal work, and it all comes together in creating such a blend that matches so well with how fast and great this movie is. The sound design in this movie is out of this world. And I wish I could see, I might want to see this in Dolby because I feel like that will do better when it comes to the sound quality as opposed to seeing it in IMAX. And my IMAX experience was great. I think it would have been better if it was in that 70 millimeter as it is intended, but we have digital IMAX here in Utah, and that's what I got, and that's what I'm going to do. But for what I got, beautifully on the screen, and it's just, there's such a color palette to this film as well that is so well done. The action sequences were also very well done. Like mentioned, we have the Cyclops. We also have the Trojan War and just them on the boat and all this stuff. Very great action sequences, especially towards the end. There's like an action sequence towards the end that is just incredible. I love this movie. I love movies that just bring me into a world and take me on this adventure. And that's what the Odyssey does, is take you on such an adventure through seeing Odysseus' story, Telemachus' story, Penelope's story, and it just all comes together. One thing that I thought was I wouldn't say it's very underutilized, and it works when it works, and maybe on a second viewing I will have more of an understanding of, is Zendaya's portrayal of Athena. Not saying it was bad at all, and I understand the connection between Athena and Odysseus and Penelope. There's something between that. But I need to rewatch just to understand that a little more. I'm not saying it was bad. I need to be more enlightened with that element of the film. But besides that, I had a great time with it. I was in a theater that was probably 80 plus degrees, which, to be honest, naturally that would be hard to watch a movie. But I was so enthralled and captivated by what was on the screen that I didn't have an issue with what I was watching. I was more so thinking the theatrical experience of it could have been a little better. And maybe that's just to go with the theater that I saw the movie at. The sound systems probably need upgraded. Obviously, the HVAC probably needs upgraded. But one gripe that I have, and I mentioned this in my short for this movie, my reaction, people just need to get off their phones. Like, I am very serious. If you're going to spend money to go sit in a movie theater, get off your phone. Like, I don't care if you need to text Aunt Betty about if you're coming to dinner on Sunday, or if you are making plans for after the movie. Go in the hallway, or just don't go to the movie. Like, if you have such a hard time being so attentive to a movie, and yes, I get it. The movie is nearly 3 hours, and I mean over 3 hours if you include trailers and all that. But like, with all seriousness, like, don't go see a movie if you're not going to pay attention to it. Like, seriously. It's so frustrating. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to be like, bro, get off the phone. But like, there was moments where I was definitely giving them dirty looks. I don't want to be that guy, and I don't want to like make that look bad, but the theater etiquette is in shambles, and it pisses me off. So here's what you guys can do to fix that. Be respectful. Don't be on your phone. Don't talk during a movie. That's very annoying, and there's plenty of other time to talk. be respectful to those around you. Hygiene, whatever, be respectful. And just overall, watch the movie. You paid to be there, might as well watch it. So that's my soapbox. Jumping back into the Odyssey, I loved this movie. Definitely my favorite movie of the year so far. And that could change. That could stay the same. We still have a handful of movies coming out. Spider-Man comes out in several weeks, and I'm very excited for that, which is crazy that John Bernthal, Zendaya, and Tom Holland are all in that movie as well. So July, ooh, good month for those three. But let me know what you think. My thoughts, I just loved it. I definitely am biased and have recency bias, but I'm still thinking of it hours later. I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 5. And putting it to the test in my rubric, I also think that agrees with it being a 5 out of 5. Even despite all the issues that I had with the theatrical experience, the movie is so well done that I was able to overlook those issues. And yes, I will probably go see it again and maybe share my thoughts on another short or something like that. But let me know what your thoughts were of the Odyssey. Are you going to see it? If you have seen it, let me know. Yeah. But before I finish this video, I do want to go back and just say, please subscribe. Please go check out my full written reviews that I'm starting to do. I watch movies all the time, and I actually have another movie that I'm planning to see next week. I don't know if I'll do a video, but I definitely will do like a reactionary video to that movie. It's a movie that I actually am not too familiar with, so we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, I want to be a film critic, so help support me. Wish me success. But thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.